I'm not following it currently.
What news?
Marvel, something happened. Like Robert Downey
Yeah,
is coming
this
back.
it's coming as Doctor, some green character with a mask. Forgot the character's name, but it broke
That's
the internet.
exactly how much I
It's
also know
coming
it.
back.
Some green character is what he's coming back as.
But it broke the internet because it's coming back to Marvel. So
And the other
It would be
green
tough to
character
see him
will
in a different role within that same universe, if that is the case.
yeah, it's almost like it's multiverse now. So he'll come in some other
You never
version.
know, we might see him back as an Iron Man sometime.
Yeah, yeah. Missing Iron Man
Lovely.
already. I used to be a huge Marvel fan, but now I don't watch it much because it deteriorated a lot, the content.
I think the last one I really enjoyed was the Spider-Man Homecoming with all the three of them.
Mhm.
I
Yes,
don't know,
yes.
Far From Home or Homecoming, whichever one it was. But I think after that, I also lost interest a little bit.
Only Loki I liked. I think every one of us liked Loki, whoever watched it.
Perfect, guys. I think more people are joining in, but I'll just start by setting some context. So, first of all, once again, guys, good morning, good afternoon to everybody who is joining us just now. So, to tell you what we are doing today, especially if you are new to the club, right? So, we meet every fourth Sunday of the month. So, you would have seen there's so many different kind of meetups that happen, but we meet every last Sunday of the month, and we try to go through some new life skill that hasn't been taught to us ever before, right? So we've talked about things like public speaking, fashion, procrastination, and we were wondering what more life skills to cover up. And we thought, what better than traveling, right? Because a lot of us are traveling enthusiasts. A lot of us travel a lot. A lot of us wants to travel a lot. But some way or the other, everybody I have talked to in the club has travel as their bucket list item, right? And one of our members, Sumant, who is currently traveling, he put an Instagram story yesterday that really clicked with me, where he put a quote that world is like a book, and if you haven't traveled, then you have probably just read one chapter, right? So I think
one page.
traveling is definitely a life skill, and I am no expert at telling you about travel, so that's why we have Kajal with us. Welcome, Kajal, to Upper Club,
Hi
right?
everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very good to see you, Kajal. And I can say all of us
To see
have woken up,
you.
but really good to see you very fresh. So it looks like you haven't just woken
I
up.
am I am traveling right now also as we speak. I wish I could have just kept the background like the mountains and sitting in. I couldn't do that. There's so much noise in the background. But yeah, I'm traveling right now as well.
Lovely, lovely.
Always on the
So
go.
yeah, so just to tell you, I'll let Kajal talk about herself in more details, right? But just to tell you, Kajal runs this amazing company called Vamos Travel, right?
Mhm.
And she has been a traveler herself. She has been traveling. She has taken people to travel. So we felt like she would be the right person to help us go through that.
Okay.
And the idea of the session is to keep it very interactive. Definitely, Kajal has worked very hard to prepare a lot of tips and tricks for us on how we can make more out of a travel, how we can make it easier, and whenever we are traveling out, what things to keep in mind just so that we have the best experience in, right? So that's what we'll be going over today. Feel free to keep interacting in the chat as well if you
Yeah,
have any
please.
questions,
Yes.
and anything to share. We'll have some pauses in between so that we can take up some questions, and we'll make sure Kajal has a good time with us, but we'll make sure that we bug her with all of our questions so that we can get the most out of it as well, right? So, Kajal, I'll give it over to you. Let me know whenever you want me to share the screen with the deck that you shared with us.
Yes.
But if you were to just start with introducing yourself.
Right. So, can I see how many people are joined? Okay, all right. Hello, everyone. I am Kajal. I am the founder of Vamos, this travel company that actually was one of my 3 a.m. ideas that actually worked out. So, when I started the company, the idea was that I'll take group trips with travel creators on board. So, because they have traveled to those places, they know what's really to see there, and they have this audience which would love, who would love to go on a trip with their favorite creators, spend a couple of days with them, and that was the idea. I was good at the organizing part of it, So I came in picture like that and they came as co-hosts. But over the time, I've done like 25, 26 trips in the past year. And then I started realizing people don't really care about the travel creators or the influencers. They really care about the experience. So Vamos curated such experiences that actually made it worth it. So in this course of like last 1 year also, there are people who have traveled with us more than 4 to 5 times also, because one thing that we do right is the experiential kind of trips. So and that's the experience I'm going to share with you. uh, Despite being a group trip, with those experiences, the way we look at travel is a little different than how conventionally you do it. So I want to share that perspective only, that how I perceive travel, and how, not as a life skill maybe, but something that's really personal to me, something that's been life changing for me. And that began, and those are the real, tips and things that I'll be sharing with you in this workshop. And I hope it comes in handy to you. It's helpful. It adds some value to your experiences as you move forward. So we can share the screen now.
Alright.
Okay, let's move on to the next slide.
Yeah, just a second. I'll just do it on full screen.
We can skip my bio and everything. We can come to the first part of it.
Sure.
So it's a very basic workshop. I'll not say there's a lot of complicated, technical tips and tricks involved. But I can tell you one thing: whatever I've noted down, the points that I've noted down for the workshop are coming from a place of personal experience. So I believe if they've come in handy for me, they've added value to my experience, they've made my journey simpler, then it sure should help you also with your plans. And I've traveled all over the country in this past year, and 2 international destinations also. So these are the tips that are, none of it is like, handpicked from there and here and there. It's something that I've really experienced has changed the way I travel. Because being a frequent travel, my travel plans can't be that spontaneous, can't be that open ended. There has to be certain things, certain things have to be in place. And these are the things that I've learned are very, very big travel essentials. So to start with, I'll say some money saving strategies. So not maybe everyone is not very budget is not a constant for everyone who's traveling. Maybe you take time like months in 3 4 months, once in 6 months to from your busy schedule to travel. So I'm sure money is not your biggest of the concerns, but still these tips that I've written down on this slide will come in handy to make your journey a little more smoother and little less complicated, a little more hassle free. So to start with, a very big game changer for me has been protein bars. Always, always, always carry protein bars. They're gonna come in handy in the most difficult situations, and you'll be like really thankful to yourself that you are carrying them. Like for example, we were in Bali. I was in Bali for the whole 15 days last month. And what used to happen is the breakfast. Once we had the breakfast, we were on the go, and there would barely be any time for us to stop by for any meal. The schedule was so tight. We are moving from ferries, we are moving islands, and you don't know. And if you're, especially if you're a vegetarian or any such thing, you never know when you're gonna stop for a proper meal. So protein bars comes in really handy, and of course they're healthy as well. And same goes for instant meals, like especially traveling international and even domestic, you should have some instant meals ready with you, because you never know what time you're going to check in, what time is the checkout of the property, what I'm gonna, maybe you're traveling in a bus and it stops at a place where you don't want to have that shitty food, street food, you won't like the food and everything of the place that you're traveling. You have to be prepared food wise, and this can never go wrong. Like some instant meals, instant poha, instant noodle, not that it's very healthy, but it can be a lifesaver at tough times when you're really out of choices. Then another thing that that's a very big essential for me, and maybe it is for some other people also, is to book stays with basic community kitchens. Now, you, of course, you're traveling, you're not there to cook your own meals, you're there to explore the local food, the local taste, local culture. Agreed, all of those things are there. But first thing in the morning is what you want. I want is a cup of hot water or my green tea in it, and a community kitchen really helps with that. Like you're there, and you can just make yourself a cup of coffee. You don't have to go like first thing in the morning, get ready and go out to have a breakfast, spend 2 hours to get ready and then have your breakfast 2 hours later. So a community kitchen at least gives a start to your day. You can have your basic tea, coffee, or any such thing, and then you can go and have a nice fancy brunch as soon as you head out of the property. So that rush is not there in my head, that when I'm staying, that I have to, go out and just have my breakfast outside only. You can start your day, because not everyone plans their day according to this ki एक ही बारी बाहर जाके ही निकलना है. So this community kitchen thing helps. It helps save a lot of money, especially when again you're traveling international and you don't want to pay for that first cup of coffee in the morning. That's an essential for you. So these things, in my experience, for me, it's very important, because now I'm traveling very frequently. So I don't want to compromise on the basic things as my morning schedule and my morning routine. So if I have access to some basic facilities to at the place where I'm staying, it really makes the experience homely. It doesn't make me feel like I am on the go and I don't have access to the basic things that I need in my life. So community kitchen and some things that you have handy with you makes you feel confident, equipped, that you're safe. Whatever happens, whatever is happening, you have some things, basic things with you, and you're safe. Then another thing that I think all of you must be doing it already, but still I'll emphasize it on more. It's been years that I haven't traveled in the daytime. I always choose and always prefer to travel overnight. That saves a ton on the stay and logic. There's no point reaching any destination by 6 7 p.m. in the morning, in the evening, and then you're taking a check-in and then just staying overnight. So first of all, traveling in the day waste is an absolute waste of time. You're on the go, there'll be no network, you won't get any work done. And if you're traveling overnight, you'll get full sleep. For me, it works. And then you'll be at the whatever place you are going to at the morning, at the time of check-in. That really helps. Now, can we move on to the next slide? Okay, so yes, another thing why Vamos trips are a major hit among people, though I have a very small community of, let's say, 5,000 people, but those 5,000 people are like so close, like it's a must for them, that they whenever they plan to travel, the first thought they'll come to their mind is to check what Vamos is doing. And how I've got that right is, I didn't want to make start another travel company that is just selling packages to people. Ki they have weekend batches, 8,999 ka ye trip, 9,999 ka ye trip. They have weekend batches going on. You can join in any of them. That was not the idea. I wanted a travel company where I thought myself as a customer, ki if I am sitting at my home, would I want to go and travel with this company? So I got at least those 4 5 things right, that if I was a solo traveler, I would want to go with Vamos. And those 4 5 things that I've gotten right, or the 4 5 things that are non-negotiable for me, could come in handy in your solo traveling experiences also. So one of the most important thing for me are the stays. Stays are everything. No matter where you're going, no matter you have a big day, a hectic schedule planned, whatever it is, the most important thing is the stay. So always an absolute non-negotiable for me is to go for commercial, these standalone buildings and hotels and this and that. No, I cannot go to such a claustrophobic kind of place. For me, it always has to be boutique stays, local boutique stays. Now, by boutique stays, I mean properties of like 8 to 10 to 12 rooms. So, in most of the cases, if I speak from experience, in 99% of the cases, those boutique stays will be run by the owners themselves. So, they will always be present at the property. So, you can imagine the difference between a property run by the staff and a property run by the owners themselves. They will be present at the property as host. And if you have seen, कितने सारे लोगों का सपना होता है कि अब सेविंग्स करके पहाड़ों पे जाके एक हॉस्टल खोलना है, एक बुटीक स्टे खोलना है. So these people who start these local and boutique stays, experiential stays, are mostly people who are like crazy travelers themselves, who are passionate about traveling, who are passionate about this industry as a whole. So the kind of experience, and what they've put their heart and soul in building, those stays. So as soon as you enter such a space like a boutique stay, you will feel that vibe. You will feel that how friendly the hosts are to you. It will be like a homely kind of environment. It will be like a community kind of thing. There'll be 10, 12 rooms, but all the guests will be interacting with each other. The host will sit at you at night, drink, smoke, chill with you. That's the kind of experience that's a must while traveling. It cannot be just about the place that you're going to this city, you have to tick off these things off your checklist, check out these spots. No, it's also about the people you're going to meet on the way. It's also no matter what it is, that place is your home for the time being, so you should look forward to going back to your home also. So it cannot be just something, something ultra luxury you book but you're staying inside the property. I think people, for me, traveling is has a lot to do with people. It's the company also. It's never just the place for me. For me, I'm sorry, it's never just the place that I go. I No matter the most beautiful sunsets I watch, the prettiest places I go to, the company is the most important thing. So, and you're gonna meet the nicest people. You're gonna find the nicest travel companies. And it can broaden your perspective. You're gonna have the nicest conversations if you're choosing to book a local, a boutique stay. And also another thing is how I plan my trips. There is this, process to it, and that process begins by finding a good stay first. I will call all kinds of properties, and I'll find a good stay. Once I've found that local, 8 to 10 rooms wala property, a villa or something like that, then I speak to the owners, and they only guide me through the itinerary. So my itineraries are very strong, are very, very, very experiential, because I am following the things that what those locals are telling me to do. So it's not copy pasted from Google or checked up like these tourist spots I never do that. I call the owners, I ask them, what do you do with your time? What's your favorite thing to do in the city? And then they'll tell you such hidden, offbeat, secret, precious spots that's gonna make your experience a lot more better. You will not find any crowd there. Those experiences, those spots will be absolutely worth it. Like, for example, it started when I first booked a hostel in Himachal, and I asked the owner, where do you go to watch the sunset? I'm sure you don't go to this crowded place to watch the sunset. You've lived your whole life here. So he told me a spot is yahan se jaake upar jaake trek aata hai, we go there. And then I went to that place, I was like, wow. So that changed my perspective. As like, I'm also from Rishikesh, so even my city has a lot to offer. Like, it's a proper tourist place, but and at the end of the day, there are so many hidden spots that we as locals know. So if I used to run a cafe in Rishikesh, and people would come and ask for my recommendations, I'm sure the things that I can suggest them can never beat. Can Google can never beat that. So even as a traveler, you go to a city, you'll be only able to do so much. But if there's a local, if there's a person like that recommending you things, you should never miss out on them. So for me, that's the whole traveling experience. So stay is the most important thing. So for my trips also, I do this. I book the stay first and then make the itinerary according to what the locals are suggested, what the owners of the property are suggesting, and it always turns out to be a big hit. So that's the same I suggest for you. Do not take stay for granted. Like, just don't go just for ultra luxury, this and that. Go for experiences, go for some places that feels like home, that has a vibe, that are welcoming, that are inviting. And I'm sure it's going to change the way, the whole experience is going to turn out for you. Another thing is, always call the property for better deals. No matter what you see on Make My Trip, this and that platform, they're charging between 18 to 25% from the hotels. So there's no chance that if you call, you'll not get a better price. Most of the cases, sometimes the platforms are running a better deal, but I still suggest it just takes 1 or 2 minutes. Whatever property you find out, whatever property you like, just go and just call the property once. In most of the cases, 90% of the times, you're going to get a better deal than online price. And yes, another thing that is coming from a very a traveler's experience point of view, like, because I lived in Rishikesh, I used to run a cafe there. I know how things work in these places like this. Go for work in exchange programs. It's something so nice and crazy. It could be one of the best experiences of your life. So there are websites like worldpackers.com, hostel world mein jaake you can go and check at the careers page. I can write down these websites at the end of the session. There's Dream Packers, there's Workaway. So these websites have Instagram pages as well. What they do is you pick a city wherever you're going, and they will have work opportunities in that city. So it's a barter collaboration that you offer them one of your you offer them some service, and they will offer you a free stay and accommodation and food in return. Now it's a very beautiful kind of experience, because money not being involved adds to it. It's like, of course, they can't afford a person, they can't afford to pay a person like you, because I think the kind of people we find through such platforms are like very intelligent, very smart, very creative people, but at the same time not paying them anything. Otherwise we wouldn't have been able to afford. And the same goes for the property as well. It's like you just offer them. So what happened to me was, I used to run this cafe, and this person came to me, okay, would you need a photo shoot? I'll do a photo shoot, and if me and my friends can get a free dinner. And that was just one of the Saturdays, and I offered them a complimentary dinner, and then they did a crazy photo shoot for me. So I think if I actually puts a price tag on that photo shoot, it would have been a lot more expensive. But at the same time, it's not always about the money. So these things are, you have to have a traveler spirit first of all to go about it. But it happens a lot, and the respect and the kind of experience you'll get uh, at the stay where you're providing your service and everything is going to be nice. So even if you're planning like a 15-day vacation kind of thing, and you have some time to kill, you will have some experiences to share or some service to offer. It's always good to go for that kind of thing. It's really nice. It's going to add some value to your life. It's going to add some value to their business. And what's the harm? It's a win-win for both. So that always, you can check out these different platforms for that. Then next thing is, yes, one more important point is, never book a stay for more than 2 days. Never. No matter how good it looks, no matter who friend has recommended it to you, always book a stay for first 2 days. Always book it for just 2 days in the beginning, because you never know. You haven't been to if you haven't been to that city before, if you haven't been to that place before, you really don't know what experiences matter to you more while you're there. Like when I went to Varkala, I booked a stay 8 kilometers from the North Cliff. So I realized the stay is pretty. Everything is nice, but then it takes me a scooty, it requires me to book a cab every time I have to go to the cliff, and I needed to be close to the beach. I needed to be close to the cliff. So you would never know these things unless you have been in the city. So do not, get stuck at a place unless you are very confident about it. So always book a stay for 2 days. Once you enter the city, you'll meet a lot of people. You'll get to know कि अच्छा, this is a more happening location to be at, or this place has a better vibe. This place has better owners, or whatever it is. Always book a stay and keep it open ended, so that you have that flexibility to change your travel plans to mold it around. Yes, please move on to the next slide.
Kajal, just curious, right? First of all, I never knew that you can work in exchange of accommodations. That's something new for
Yes,
me.
that happens because
Yeah.
I'm from Rishikesh. So I've seen that all my life. So anybody will just walk in. So, like for example, when I had this cafe, another thing that this guy offered was, he was a music artist. He used to play guitar and sing. And he was very, very good, very good. But then at that time, he was like on a break. He was in a what do you say, artist block, and he didn't want to spend a lot of time, doing those commercial gigs. Like, I want to stay in Rishikesh, sit by the Ganga every evening, write down more songs, but I also want a stay in accommodation. So if I provided him that, and he used to have 4 performances at my cafe every week. So it worked out
Wow.
so well for both of us. He got what he wanted, I got what he wanted. So yeah, it's a nice thing, and you can check out. There are all kinds of job opportunities: website development, Instagram, reels, editing, social media, content. Yeah.
It sounds very exciting. I'm definitely going to try that. I'm just curious, other these local boutiques that you're talking about, right? Do you like
Yes.
search for them on Google, or is there a place also where
Google,
you can
Google,
find them?
Google only. Google only. Yeah, Google.
Got it.
You
Sure.
you
Yeah.
might not find them on Make My Trip and these other platforms, because the platforms, see, these hotels have better tie-ups with the platforms because they don't have other marketing strategies but this. So you'll find better deals on, prices and all on these platforms. But if you're going for the boutique stays, always Google. You will find such 8 to 10, 12 rooms wala property, and then yeah, it's a different vibe altogether.
Lovely.
So for me, when
Lovely.
I book Vamos Kid trip, it's very important for me that the whole property is ours. Even if it's a group of like 20, 25 people, I want the whole property to be ours so that we have the flexibility to do whatever we want. We don't want to see kids running around. We don't want to see families because that's not the vibe at the moment. We want to have our own thing. So I always go for boutique stays, and yeah. And
Makes
Instagram
sense.
is also a good place to find them. They might not have a great presence on Google, but they'll definitely be there somewhere on Instagram. Yes.
Makes sense. I think just taking a couple of quick things from the chat. So yeah, Avinash will definitely share the PPT. And Kaja will be sharing the details of Vamos with you as well, so that if you want to join on for the trips, you can absolutely
Yes.
join in. Yeah, just moving on to the next slide.
Okay. So it's this one is simple. I think it's not that difficult. It's how to pack. And for in my suggestion, it's all because I am a big time shopper. I love shopping and I love to, whenever I go to a place, I love to pick their unique items and bring it back home to me. So pack less, thrift more. That's my idea. That's simply my idea. Instead of paying more to the airlines for the extra luggage or any of that, it's very simple to do. Just pack less, and you're definitely, if you have that vibe, definitely there, every city has that local market, every city has that place where you can go and shop for yourself, and it's always a better idea. So like we were in Bali, so what my friend did is the flights with 7 kg cabin luggage were a lot more cheaper. I think they were half the price compared to the flights with cabin luggage and 20 kg additional check-in luggage. So he went for the cabin luggage wala thing. I will just go with the basics. He just packed a couple of basics and went and then shopped from Bali, because Bali is such a cheap place, such a crazy place to shop. And if so, another tip is like if you're uh, buying that extra luggage from the website, from the airlines at the time of booking, it's gonna cost you more. So it's better you take that add-on at the time of the departure from the airport itself. That always cost a lot more cheaper. That's something that people don't know. So even if you have extra luggage, buy it. Add-on karna is a much better idea than to uh, pre-book it. And also just take lesser luggage. Like you can maybe get the add-on later also if you have extra luggage, if you shop from there, but always keep your luggage less and then have that option to shop more. Yes. And yeah, another thing is roll instead of fold. That's been a game changer for me. I think you should all Google how to exactly do it, but just roll your clothes and use packing cubes. Packing cubes are a must. You have no idea how much the smallest of the suitcase can accommodate unless you're using packing cubes. You can use packing cubes are like these mini zipper bags that you can use to segregate all kinds of stuff, your essentials, your toiletries, this and that. And yeah, it will definitely take your packing game up a notch, because that's something that I really struggled with. I still do. Another thing is, yes, if you're like right now I'm in Missouri and I live in Rishikesh, so I am here for just 2 days, so I shouldn't need to carry all these bulky bottles of shampoo, conditioner, hair mask, this that. So what I've ordered is, what I've understood, there is, just go to Amazon, find these small toiletries containers, and that's your go-to thing. That should be your go-to thing if you're going for a weekend getaway, for a small trip, anywhere. Even if you're going to a friend's place for a, let's say, night over, you need these small, toiletries containers, and that'll help you save on space a lot. It's gonna make your packing so much more easier. You can just keep them handy. You can just keep them separate also. Ki traveling ke time pe wo use kare. You do not need to carry those huge bulky 1 liters ka, half liters ka bottles. Another thing is, uh, should I take the questions now? I'm getting something on the chat.
No, that's go ahead, Kajal. I'll let you know if there's
All
something.
right. Okay. Yes. So mix and match. Yes. Please carry a lot of basics. Like if I've come for this trip, one thing is that's an essential is a black trouser pants for me. That can go with a lot of things, like a sports bra. I'll see you in a tank top today. Yesterday I was wearing a sports bra with a jacket, with a pullover, anything. Like please carry a lot of basics with you that you can mix and match. So do not, pack proper outfits that are for a specific thing in your head. I'm gonna wear this on brunch, I'm gonna wear this there, I'm gonna wear this that. You can have a couple of them also, but basics are very important, like blue denims, white shirts, sports bras for girls and black pants, one good sturdy pair of shoes. These basics, if you have in handy, you will never be, confused, and you can always mix match and come up with a new outfit every day, rather than packing separate outfits for each and every part of the day or the activity that you're doing. Then certain things that yes, I must have for me is a travel pillow. Must have, definite must have for me. I cannot, like, I travel for long hours. I've done all kinds of traveling with like longer durations. Travel pillow is a must. And what I've written is yes, light blanket. Yes, you cannot. It's the most unhygienic thing possible to use the blankets and everything they give in the bus and all. So that should be a non-negotiable for anyone to just not go for it. A light blanket is a must, because I'm sure whatever travel commute or whatever thing that you're going for will be air conditioned, and I am not comfortable with traveling for 12 hours straight under air conditioner. So I always have that light blanket with me. That's a very big must have. And like a quick dry towel, you can buy one from Decathlon. It's again a game changer. It dries out in seconds and it's a must have. It takes very little space. It's like a small hanky, like a very small handkerchief only, but it saves a ton of space, dries out very quickly, comes in very handy. You can just carry it in your purse also, anywhere. So a quick dry towel from Decathlon is something that I always have in my bag. No matter, even if I'm going to 5 stars, you never know when you're gonna need one. So that's a must have. Yes, move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is coming from my last 2 international trips that I've undertaken, and this could come in some lot more handy for you. So the first thing is avoid currency exchange at the airport, because that's the first thing they're gonna do as soon as you step out of the, as soon as you get out of the flight and you're ready to be in the city. Do not, please never do that. Do not do currency exchange at the airport, no matter what. Just be prepared for that. Go out, you will find it at half of the price outside the airport. Any such thing to do at the airport is not wise. Even the SIM, like I went to Bali and I had the choice कि मैं SIM airport से खरीदूं या बाहर जाके खरीदूं, तो please, it's gonna cost you twice the amount if you're doing it from the airport. So do not do that. And if you're traveling international, I would suggest it's always better to buy a local SIM. Though I had this, mere dono numbers the, I did both the things, but the local SIM in my experience was a lot more better experience. I had Airtel ka SIM, so Airtel Pay international roaming is good. It comes to around 899, I'm sorry, for 10 days. That's like 90 rupees a day, but you only get so much data and calling. There's not much that you get in that. It just keeps your number active. While on the other hand, I got an international SIM for 1,000 rupees for 15 days, and it had crazy internet. And because it's a local SIM, the network was good in the middle of the sea also. So you can never go wrong with that. So I suggest you go for international SIM, but in case you need to keep your mobile phone also, your number also active, then go for Airtel international roaming. Only that works out well. Though other platforms are also offering, Jio is offering too, but it's not as good. If you have to go for an international trip, you want to keep your SIM active, please get it switched to Airtel and then go for the international roaming pack, because only Airtel will be able to save it. Otherwise, it'll be like a very complicated thing. Jio doesn't work. Jio international roaming doesn't work. Then, yes, travel insurance. Oh my God, I cannot emphasize enough, because I just hosted a group trip of 26 people in Bali, and 2 of them fell terribly sick. And that travel insurance, what saved their lives was something that they booked with the flight. They didn't even pay attention to it. It was like वो flight में option था कि coupon code में you get some itna 500, 600 discount, or you get a travel insurance for free. Unfortunately, one of them went for the travel insurance thing, and it saved a ton of money. You never know. You cannot be prepared enough when you're going to an international country. You can never know enough about their medical system and how much they're gonna charge you. They can literally mob you really left and right if you don't have a travel insurance with you. Travel insurance, this just narrows down your bill to nothing. And yeah, you can never be prepared enough about any kind of medical emergency. So travel insurance is a must. Then another thing is opt for flexible flight options, because that's something coming from a place of experience that I would never want to keep my plans so uptight ki I know I'm going to leave at those days unless there's something really important happening. And these flexible flight tickets do not cost a penny extra. So in case of Bali and in case of Vietnam, these are the two countries I recently traveled to. In case mein, I did not see any. There were just certain flights. You just have to figure it out. You just take your time. And also another just a random tip: try to book your flights on Tuesdays. They always cost a lot cheaper. And also, if you've been looking at a particular destination repeatedly from your phone, they are definitely going to increase the fare for you now. So what you have to do is go and check from the incognito mode or close turn off your VPN. That helps. Otherwise, if you're going to keep checking a same destination ka flight repeatedly from your phone, it will keep getting expensive. You will have no idea, but it'll keep getting expensive. So turn off the VPN mode or go to the incognito mode. That's just some random advice. But apart from that, if you're looking at it properly, if you keep checking, you will find flights with they don't charge a single rupee extra, and they have this option of free date change. So that should be that option should everyone should have. Like you may fall sick or anything, or you want to maybe explore the city a little more, you meet people, anything could happen. And since you have spent tons of money on the tickets already, shouldn't need to pay extra for that. So flexible flight ka option is very much possible, so go for that. Another thing is international cards. So I used Neo this time, and it was really nice. Like the service was as smooth as anything, and it's directly connected. If you have to apply for the Neo card, just directly go to the website, apply for it, link any of your bank accounts that you will be able to transfer money into, and then the card will be there at your home like 3 to 4 days. And the card is very easy to use. It works almost everywhere, and the transaction charge per transaction, the charges are very very less. And in fact, if you have 50,000 ka money in your account as reserve, you will not be charged a single penny for any transaction that you're doing. So that's a great help. So like we just kept 50,000 in our card, and we didn't pay anything extra while withdrawing any money. Yes, but when you're using that card to pay small bills at the restaurant or shopping, वो उस पे transaction लगेगा. I'm talking about the ATM withdrawal. So ATM withdrawal के time पे, my suggestion is go for bigger withdrawals, because any time, even if आप एक छोटा सा भी transaction कर रहे हो, let's say Bali में I was doing this a lot initially, I had no clue कि इतना ज़्यादा charge लग रहा है. Even if I'm like, I thought like it's better to have a card with me than cash. But अगर international छोटा सा भी transaction कर रहे हैं, it's gonna cost you 10%, 5 to 10% of the amount on the bill on every transaction, because that depends on what bank these people, the receiver is using. There are more rules you cannot decide. But if you're using withdrawal ka amount, and that is the amount for that is fixed, and even that is refundable if you have 50K in your account. So then what I started doing was bigger withdrawals. I'll withdraw 10-15,000 in one go, and then just use the cash everywhere. Even when there is a possibility to use the card, try to use your card as less as possible, and use it only to withdraw cash and have the cash handy with you. And yeah, that's about it. And yes, again, another that I've already mentioned, that add-on luggage is cheaper than pre-booked luggage that you pay while booking the flight. So opt for this option. Pack less, please, thrift more, go explore the local boutiques, and then bring back more home stuff instead of paying the same money to the airline for just carrying your stuff back and forth. So that's always a better idea. Yes, please. Next slide.
Just one question, Kajal, for one of the previous
Yes.
points that has come up on the chat.
Yeah.
So you're talking about staying in the local boutiques, right? So are there any safety concerns there, or is it like pretty safe
No,
to
not
go there
really.
as well?
Never faced any. Not really. No. I'm
Sorry to interrupt, but adding to like I have few adverse experiences in the past while
all
staying
right.
in a boutique homestay. So I think
May I
we
know
should
like how you checked the place where you were going for,
so
and like how
maybe
you?
exactly. So I think it's more about seeing the feedback on Instagram and Google before actually booking and actually taking the reviews very seriously than taking them casually. That's where
Yeah.
I've gone
Yes,
wrong, I
correct,
think.
correct. Correct. And maybe you can have, like, if you have recommendations from a couple of friends, anyone who has been to that place, and just, I think it's important that the location is safe. If the location is safe, there's not a lot that can go wrong. You can still go and see if you don't like the property. And according to that only, I suggested that do not book your stay for more than 2 days at one. So like that I always do. मेरे लिए तो वो 1 day होता है, but just to be on the safe side and to write it down for the purpose of it, I've written 2 days. Any stay that you're booking should not be for more than 1 day. You can always extend. So anything unpleasant happens, any adverse experience you have, you should have that open-ended thing कि आप कहीं भी जाके you can move. But I don't know how you check that stay. For me, it's never really been the case. I've never experienced anything bad, but of course it can go wrong. So I think, yeah, all of us should take the reviews very seriously. That's about it, I would say.
Yeah. And I think
And maybe,
Sukshma, your
talk to
point.
the owners personally. For me, my intuition has been the biggest friend I've had. So when you speak to the owner, the way they're treating you, the way they've been, ask like how much occupancy they have at the moment, and if you're booking a hostel, have a clear idea on how many girls are there, how many guys are there in your dorm. More such things. You can have a very friendly conversation with the owners if you get a number like that, and it will clear most of your doubts. You will get an idea of either you should go for this property or not.
I think a couple of things to probably add to what Sukshma was saying, right? Even when checking reviews, probably go
Yeah.
for older properties, right? Not the properties that have like very, very recently opened, or at least the
Yes.
ones that have a good number of reviews. Because sometimes you see like a 5-star rating, but then there are only like 5 reviews. So you do not really know whether that's
Correct. You can't
authentic or
even
not.
really trust the reviews so much. There's so many ways. They could be fake, they could be ingenuine. So not that's also not the most reliable place to go. But of course, yes, if you're seeing some negative reviews, take them seriously. Yes. In my experience, correct. That's never been the case कि कुछ review है बहुत ही negative और property में वो चीज मुझे नहीं देखने मिली है. More or less, it is somewhat true. Some things just never change. So if you see a review, yes, please take it seriously. Should I
Go ahead,
start? Okay.
Kajal. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yes, health is one very important aspect of my life that has taken a toll since I've been traveling so much. So of course, if you're just going for a weekend getaway, then it's fine. If you're not even, being your healthiest selves. But if you're going for any duration longer than that, I think we should not compromise on our health. We shouldn't be on an eating spree. We shouldn't be on a drinking spree. That's something I've learned the hard way. It never ends well. It's not like we think we are in that headspace, okay, it's just 4 5 days, I'll go back home and back to my routine. Still, there's no way you should be so careless about our health. It's not a very good idea. So one thing that I say is start your day healthy, and for that, like, just maybe have like skipping rope or resistance bands or any such. Skipping rope has been a game changer for me because I have this habit of working out every day when I'm home, but it's the opposite when I'm traveling because it's really difficult to find a gym, to find a place to go for a run, to go for a jog, and to especially take out time from your routine. So skipping ropes really helps. Skipping rope has really changed my life in that way. I can just use it anytime, and yeah, it sets a healthy tone for the rest of the day to come. That's the most important thing. Like if you're waking up with that headspace ki okay theek hai, health can take a back seat for now. I'm traveling, I'm free. That way it'll be in your mindset throughout the day. You'll be eating also a lot of junk, you'll be drinking also in that way because you're like, it's just 2 days, it's just 3 days. But in my opinion, what works for me is like if I start my day on a healthy note, if I start my day with a green tea and with a little bit of workout, even 15 20 minutes of workout, even 500 skips are more than enough. Then it sets you for the right, put your headspace in the right way ki, okay, I'm here, I am not here to fuck my health up, I'm not here to compromise on my health. I can still pick some healthy, even if you are in a restaurant, you could choose to have a healthier option instead of the most junk and the most unhealthiest choice. So once you set the tone of your day right, I think the whole traveling experience goes on in that way. So skipping rope are a very big, I think it's a good essential if you want to keep healthy while traveling, and so is the resistant bands. Then also another thing is very important, use reusable glass bottles. Buy something cute for Mimiso, buy anything that makes you want to be stay hydrated also and looks good in your hand or anything, because you shouldn't be buying those plastic bottles littering also all the time, and also just paying that extra money every time you're thirsty. So I think that bottle handy in your bag really helps. It keeps you hydrated. And another thing, I in this last 1 year I must have fallen sick 3 times while traveling. So some basic medicines are a must. Like we were in Bali and couldn't even find a single decent paracetamol, like something that's not too heavy, something that you just need ki, okay, we'll feel little feverish, ek paracetamol leke will feel better in the morning. Couldn't find it. So some basic medicines or some conditions, if you may have, like you get this a lot, like I feel this happens to me a lot, like food poisoning bahut jaldi ho jata hai. So I know certain things that could go wrong with my body, so I should be prepared for that. So some basic medicines, I'm not even saying a first aid kit and all, but some basic medicines should be there with you. And do not skip on your multivitamins. I think after the age of 25, all of us should be having multivitamins, and while on the go, while traveling, we shouldn't just skip it and leave it at home. I think it really helps keeping our body strong, even while traveling, because of all the exertion, everything. Of course, it doesn't have an instant effect, but shouldn't be skipped altogether also, that when we are in a habit of taking them regularly, traveling ke time also carry them with you. And keep these things handy, like glucose, electrolyte water, and ORS, and some things like that. Even if you have a fever, even if you're feeling dehydrated, or it's some food sickness, anything, some stomach sickness, anything, these hydration techniques always come in handy. They'll keep you fit. Even if you have a headache, and if you have a good one good glass of ORS, it will help you, get your health back on track. So I think these electrolytes and everything we should always have in our bag. Traveling ke time pe, you are not going to drink enough water. So like when I'm traveling, रात को जब अगर overnight journey है, so I prefer to drink very very less water, because of course I don't want to put myself to the risk of using those dirty public washrooms all the time. So I drink very less water, but then I drink ORS wala water, so that it keeps me hydrated also. I don't get dehydrated also. I think ORS is a must. If you have a long day planned ahead of you, अपनी bottle में ORS लेके जाना is a better idea. You're not going to drink a lot of water while traveling, so maybe having something like that sustains your health in a good way. Then yeah, I think that's about it. Yes, we can move on to the next slide.
Yeah, I think just to add, Ashad, right, what Kajal also mentioned earlier, I've also learned that especially for food, when you ask the locals or your stay host where to eat, they provide you the best suggestions, because in
Correct,
Google you only get the very
definitely.
fancy places,
Right.
but comes very handy.
Yeah. Okay, so this is coming from my solo traveler wala spirit, that if you're scared of going alone, if you're like, how I'm gonna do this and that, I think these tips can come in handy. If you haven't done your solo trip already, you all must. It's a life-changing experience. It can transform your lives. You can't even imagine, because I believe, like, if you are on a solo trip, you can be anyone you want. You can be anything you want. There is no bias you're holding. There is nobody that know you there already. You can be your most confident self. You can be your most introvert self. You can have your own space, travel according to your vibe, but you should definitely go for a solo trip. Now, some people are very scared ki how I'm gonna have fun, who I'm gonna see things with, how will I go and do these activities, this and that. So I think the basic step to that also again comes to booking your stay at hostels. So hostels are a great place to meet people, to mingle. I'm sure a lot of you must have these concerns about getting marked or like the hygiene part of it. But I'll say, you can just do this thing. थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा effort लगता है. Check out a few hostels online. Do not book anything पहले से. Just maybe go check the rooms, and if you find them hygienic enough, go for it. And again, if you have a budget is not a constraint, but you are still going for a solo travel, you can book private rooms in hostels also. That is also something that really helps. Like, I am somebody now, I can afford to have a better traveling experience. My stays and everything could be better budget wise, so I always go for hostels, but I prefer private rooms, because you're going to meet all kinds of people, do all kinds of things. So one thing, for example, I was staying in Bali. After the group trip was done, I was staying in Bali, and this hostel had this whole week ka chart plan. So they had this movie night. They had this lovely community dinner on one of the days planned, and that was the day I checked in only. And I checked in like maybe 2 hours before, and then they had this community dinner from 8 to 10, and all the people were so excited about it. There were like 15, 16 people waiting on the table, and then they had community dinner. Mein hota hai, you get all something from your like I got chocolates because I didn't have anything. Some people got something, this and that. And then everyone was sharing this lovely meal and talking. And I had friends, I had so many friends by the end of the night. So hostels have always these or this and that activities going on. So you'll always get to meet people. And of course, you can just carry a very small chotu wala lock for extra safety where you can keep your luggage safe and everything. Otherwise, I nobody can promise that, but most of the cases, nothing bad really happens because if you're also careful about your stuff, careful with your luggage and everything, nothing really bad can happen. But yeah, hostels are a great way to meet people. Then apart from that, even if like let's say hostels are not working out for you or any such thing, you can use community apps also. Like I have used Bumble PFF feature tons of time in my life. It's very simple. You just go there, and they'll if you're in a tourist place, if you're in a place where which is touristy, travelers are there, you will find a lot of people who are also there solo and would not mind some company to accompany to take them on with their travel plans. So community apps also help. And then also when you're in a nice place like that, go for local experiences. And by that I mean, every place has such one or the other such experiences, like pottery workshop, art workshop. There was in Bali, there was a silver jewelry making workshop. Another thing in Bali was the Tuesday tacos. What they do is you go there, you order anything, and you get a mini tattoo with that. So the vibe of such places is very different. In Rishikesh also, I used to have this bachata workshop in my cafe. It's a 1 hour workshop, and people, all kinds of random people would show up. And imagine you're just doing salsa with someone, how would you not conversate? So if you go for such local experiences, you will definitely meet a lot of people, make a lot of friends, and make your, that'll change your travel experience altogether. So local stays, local experiences, and using community apps could be a game changer. And another thing is join group trips. Group trips like ours cannot be a bad option. It's a really, really good way to meet people. So for me in Vamos Ki trip, it's a strict rule that everyone should come solo. I allow only 2 people at a time. Like 2 people can come together, not more than that, because that defeats the purpose. So even group trips. So my trips are particularly famous in Bangalore for a reason, because I've done a couple of trips to Gokarna and Varkala, which were a good hit. So now people were excited about more trips coming from Bangalore. So some of my friends had recently moved to Bangalore, and they were very excited whenever is your next trip we are joining, because we want to meet more people from Bangalore itself. So these group trips could also help you if you haven't traveled solo ever before and you're very skeptical of it and you don't have the courage to do it all by yourself. You can just book a group trip that serves both the purpose. You are traveling solo as well, but at the same time everything is sorted. You will not be stuck anywhere. You'll not feel shy, or you'll not miss on to any experiences just because you're alone. So yeah, that helps. Yes, next slide. I think it's this is almost done.
Just one quick question, Kajal, coming from a couple of people, right? So, especially when you're traveling solo for the first time, you're already a little afraid, and right, and some of us might not be as extroverts, as
Yes.
outgoing.
But I
So,
wasn't either. That's why I'm emphasizing on this point that I wasn't either. When I went for my first solo trip, I explored a different personality of mine, that oh, I could be this person also. Oh, I could go and talk to, because it was the need of the hour. I couldn't have just spent that whole week sitting by myself. So I just made that effort to go and talk to someone, and the way they welcomed me, the smile and everything, and it was like in 1 minute I'm talking to them, and the next minute we are going for this road trip in their car. So that's how it was. It's like really, it takes one little step. It takes one little step, and you're halfway there. And then from that point onwards, those people only will continue it for you. It doesn't even really have to be difficult. So yeah, it's been years now that I've first traveled solo, but since then, though, it's been like whenever I choose to have my own peace, I do not choose to, maybe socialize and mingle. And whenever I want to have a friend or like come company to go anywhere. Hostels are like, you go talk to anyone, you ask them, what's your plan for the night? Do you want to join me for this? And they'll be mostly up for it. And even if they're not, they'll give you the most polite answer. So like people in hostels come in a very different mindset. Another thing that I've experienced is, like, let's say I live in a place like Rishikesh, which in itself is a full, travelers destination. And I also move back and forth from Gurgaon. So what happened once is this, that I used to work out in a gym in Gurgaon, and I would see this guy every now and then, but never went and talked to him. And this one time I saw the same guy in Rishikesh and he came and talked to me. So I think the place also has a lot to do with it. Like in big cities and everything, we might see someone, but we'll not go and compliment them. But if you're in a place like a traveler's place like Goa, Rishikesh, what will happen is people will come to you, have all kinds of conversation, because वो mindset ही वैसा होता है. That's the difference a resort, a hotel and a hostel would make. Hostel में सब like minded लोग already होते हैं. So it's so as soon as you'll enter such spaces, people will smile at you, they will only say hi, they will only ask your name, they'll only take the conversation forward, because they are all in the same mindset. They've all mostly come solo, they are all here to meet people, they're all here to have a great experience. On the other hand, hotels, resorts, ka crowd and the vibe is very different. So I think you'll feel at ease, you'll completely feel at peace once you're in one of those places. So you have to take that one step. Once you're there, things are going to be smooth from that point onwards. यहाँ पे बैठ के हम ऐसा सोचेंगे कि how will I go, because it's not going to be the same. As I said, that person who I've been working out in the same gym for months never had a chance to speak. But in Rishikesh, the vibe was so different. We were all jamming with this one artist and the conversation just started. So I think the place, the people has a lot to do with that.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. Some random travel hacks that I've just jotted down off the top of my head. One thing is, yes, please back up your phone data. One friend lost her phone in Bali, and the biggest regret is the data was not backed up. So you never know. There are dangerous places. You could lose your phone. You could lose anything that's very, very important to you. So always have your data backed up whenever you're traveling somewhere far or any such place. Then also download Google Maps offline. That comes in very handy. Network ka you cannot predict. In your own city, you know network kahan hoga, kahan nahi hoga, you are aware. Bahar jaake you have no idea kidhar network kharab ho sakta hai, what could happen. So always wherever you're staying, have the location of that place downloaded offline, so that you can just at least track your way back to your place, and you shouldn't get stuck about that. Another thing is, always share your location shared with someone important in case of any emergency. Like iPhone has that option, and I so back and forth I keep that location turned off. But when I'm traveling, when I'm on the go, I'm alone, I always keep my location shared with someone. I'm not talking live location on WhatsApp. I'm saying on iPhone has that option. I'm not sure about Android, but someone should always have that location of yours with them, so that anything happens, someone is there, someone can be contacted for their emergency. And yes, keep your itinerary flexible. Again, that's a very important thing for me. I think ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा अगर आप कितने भी दिन के लिए कहीं भी जा रहे हो, कितना भी आपको you're particular about things and you're pre-planned kind of person, you want everything in place, do not pre-plan things too much. Always keep your itinerary open-ended. You cannot predict weather, you cannot predict the people you're gonna meet. Maybe you meet someone, you want to completely change your plans, and that's so basically, this is not a life skill, but that's what traveling means to me. कि traveling इतना ये सब भी plan करके किया तो क्या travel किया. So for me, traveling is like एक दिन का 2 दिन का stay बताओ, and that's it. उसके बाद it should be open-ended. You should go with that open, absolutely free mindset ki whatever comes on my way, I'm open to that opportunity. And that's the most beautiful part of it. That's what's going to add to your experience. There's never been a single time in my life कि मैंने कोई trip plan किया और मैं उन dates पे वापस आ गई हूँ. I always end up meeting someone so nice towards the end of the trip that I really want to extend the trip with them. And I've met such amazing people while traveling, and just because I had enough time to spend with them, they are my best of friends even today. So like, not that it was just a one-time thing, we met and we just crossed our paths and never spoke again. I've made some really good friendships while traveling, and I'm still in touch with those people. So I think that is very important for all of us to keep our plans open-ended. Of course, if you have to be back home at a certain point, then you can't do much about it. But even in that time span, even if you have a week, do not plan everything to the point of precision that you're not able to change anything last minute. Do not pre-book a lot of activities. Never do that. You never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to end up with, how you want to, what other things entice you, or anything, something like that could change. So please have that liberty to have the power to change your plans last minute. Then, yeah, this is a random tip. I think all of us know that already. Use Digi Yatra. Again, big game changer. Matlab, I don't know. Maybe I was living under the rock. I recently, 2 years back, only started using it, but it's been really, really. It has made my, flight ko leke stress a lot less stressful these days. Like now, I go ekdam aisa smoothly. I go and check in, and everything is smooth because of Digi Yatra. And yeah, lounge access again, very important thing. Do not have like full information on the credit cards, but I know this for sure that the way we are scared of credit cards, it's not something like that. They can come in really, really handy. I had that one credit card that gave me international lounge access, also domestic lounge access, also, and was my international credit card also. Like all the international transactions were done on that also. And as soon as I got back, I paid the bill and I even got more reward points. So can't go in detail about it because that's just with my bank. I'm sure it will be different. They have different kinds of options. But please explore. Matlab, whatever bank you have, please explore what is the best credit card options. It's really, you just need to be a little more proactive with the use, little smart with the use. But it's not as dangerous, or like maybe it's not as overwhelming as it looks. It's very simple and you can really make the best out of it. So yeah, that's about it. Now I can take some questions if you have any.
No, there are a couple of suggestions. Gaurav mentioned also one good tip is to take a power bank. That makes a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I think
Power bank,
Gaurav
and in
also
fact,
has a
an
suggestion.
international adapter. That was a big struggle in Bali for us. Like traveling again international careers, so you should have that international all ports adapter also.
Yeah, and I think Gaurav also gave a suggestion. I've also heard about it as a Scapia travel card, which has unlimited lounge access. So if you're
Okay.
traveling very, very frequently, you can like
Yeah.
kind of consider having a travel specific card
Card.
or a
Yes,
credit
yes,
card as well.
definitely. Yes. Even I'm yet to do my research on that. I've just gotten my hands on a very good credit card. So yeah, still I didn't go in detail about it, but yes.
Sagar, just to add in for the lounge access card, we like being a employee with ICICI Bank. I recently came across this really beautiful card that they have launched for domestic travel. It is a card which comes along. If you have account with ICICI savings account or a salary account, you can just take that. I will just drop the name of the card in the group of
Please do,
because I
yes.
don't recall the name, but it allows 4 people at one go for one access.
Oh,
Like you don't need 4 different cards. You can take 4 people along with you in one go.
That's lovely. I do drop in the name.
For sure. I'll check with the team tomorrow and confirm you back.
Perfect. I think we can go ahead, Kajal.
Sorry.
We can go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. I think I've mostly concluded it only. I can take some questions if they have any.
Sure.
Kajal, hi.
Hi.
Okay, Bhargav here.
Hi,
Can you
Bhargav.
tell me like best place to like buy the insurance part, health insurance?
Travel insurance I've mostly bought with the flight tickets only. So they have that option, but Reliance has very good flight insurance. If you're gonna go separately for it, Reliance has very good travel insurance. They have all these different modules, but अगर आप flight के साथ ही long flights के साथ कर रहे हो, so that way you get a basic premium wala package, which is not a lot, but yeah, it can, in case of a big emergency, it can save you.
Got
But
But India, if you're going, Reliance is one. Yeah.
I have one question. You mentioned you have traveled so much in the country, 26 trips in the last 1 year. What's like
Yes.
your favorite destination? What's some place that you enjoy a lot?
It's very random. Like I've traveled. I think I liked Ladakh, but then again, wouldn't want to stay there for too long because of the breathing issues and everything. I loved Kunur. I was just having this discussion. I'm in Missouri right now, and we're just looking at the views in the morning. And I was just having this discussion with my friends that they're big time, Himachal fan, and I'm like, I am more into South Ke mountains. I'm not seen anything as pretty. So for me, it was Kunur se bhi upar Kotagiri. So I stayed there for 3 days. I was like, this is where I need my retirement home to be. So for me, it was very pretty. And I've traveled all of Himachal, but still for some reason, I like South ka hills and during a maybe certain kind of, weather more. So for me, it was Kunur.
Sure, we'll take that suggestion. Um, Kajal, Avinash has planned a trip to Rishikesh. So maybe
Okay.
can you tell maybe some hidden gem since you are there that he must
Uh,
go to?
I swear those hidden gems are some things that I would personally need to take him to, because it's like those places are not there on Google. I can't really drop a location and tell you where to go. But apart from that, also Rishikesh, okay, I would say again, you should book a good hostel. आधे से ज़्यादा, so these hostels, हम ऋषिकेश के hostels में how it works, they organize a morning trek to a place कि जिसको join करना है, हम आपको एक offbeat से trek पे लेके जा रहे हैं, you all join, and it's free, it's absolutely free of cost. Every day they mention on their board 10 things to do today. So like हर एक कैफे में कुछ कुछ अलग अलग चीजें हो रही होती है, किधर live music हो रहा होगा, there'll be a bachata workshop, there'll be this and that. So these hostels, I can drop you the name of these 3-4 hostels which are very good in terms of hospitality and the community wala vibe. So maybe you can just try them and they will only guide you throughout your journey. Aapka jo mood hai, you will have something happening according to that mood. You can just go on and join that thing. So I think can I just drop that names later and you can send it to him, or
Absolutely.
should I?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Kajal,
Absolutely.
actually, my accommodation has been already booked.
And for how many days have you booked it?
For complete 1 week.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
what
I
have
am
you booked?
going
If I
for
may
a
ask?
group trip.
So you're going for a group trip only.
Yeah. But
So then they'll only take
we are
care
from
of all
several
the-
places in India. We are all part of meditation group.
Okay.
For last 2 years, we are exploring Mahotar Babaji caves and other things.
Okay. So I will write down a few suggestions and then maybe Shrishti will forward it to you later if that works.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
I'll do that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think you're going not in the best weather because rafting is not happening right now, and that's what Rishikesh is known for, but that's okay. You can try other adventure sports maybe.
So I'll take one last question, right? And if you have more questions, you guys can send it to us and we can bug Kajal later to get more of these things. Okay, I'll maybe just take two quick questions, Kajal. Okay, there are a couple of them. So I think one in terms of flight tickets, I think one of Kajal mentioned that maybe trying booking on a Tuesday is a preferred day for the flight
Yes,
tickets.
most of
But
the
is there
time.
like a specific app that you prefer for the flight booking, Kajal?
Sorry, what?
Any specific flight like app do you prefer for flight booking
No,
or
no, no,
just
no. In my experience, it's always been fluctuating. Go Ibibo has been good, but apart from that, I can't really promise. मेरी इस बार की 5 की flights अलग-अलग platform से थी, जिस पे उस time पे अच्छा deal आ रहा हो, whatever credit card, whatever card I have. So no, not like that.
Saga, people can probably use Skyscanner for an initial comparative for
Yeah,
having
but
an
you
understanding,
please
and then
never, yes, thank you for bringing it up. Never book from Skyscanner. They have such scams going on. They have hidden, terms and conditions that you'll only get to know later. So, Skyscanner bought cheap flight, but what happened was it was a connecting flight, and उसमें luggage के लेके they didn't have assisted check-in में they didn't have assisted luggage. So basically, if it's a connecting flight also, they got down at Hanoi and they had to get their luggage back from the check-in the luggage belt and then check in the new flight, and the time was just 2 hours and this was not mentioned. They didn't have the time, they had to lose their luggage. So बाद में फ्लाइट्स को कॉल वॉल करके आधा बाली का ट्रिप खत्म हो गया, तब उनका 4 दिन बाद लगेज आया. So these scams happen with Skyscanner. They will give you the cheapest flights, but they'll have like under internal terms and conditions will be really messed up. So, and you cannot read about them abhi already. So वो later ही पता लगता है. So just Skyscanner can be just a way to look around, but never book from it. It can go right, but it can also go wrong.
And I think one last is Benazir is planning a trip to Vietnam, right? You talked about Vietnam. So anything that you would recommend
Honestly, I'm
specifically?
sorry, but I was in Vietnam for just 3 days because it was my 3 days भी full नहीं था. रात को check in करके 2 mornings we were in Vietnam. We were just in Hanoi, just explored the city around, and then we had a connecting flight to Bali. So can't talk a lot, but yeah, just learn eating with chopsticks because they will not give you hope. Apart from that, it was like a chill trip for us. We were already planning for a big group trip ahead of us, so we didn't explore a lot of Vietnam. The other international trip I was saying was Bhutan I'd done. So Vietnam is not majorly something that I've completely understood or would be able to tell you a lot about. I can tell you a lot about Bali, but not Vietnam.
But I'll carry the chopsticks, Kajal. Thanks.
Yes, definitely. Learn to eat with chopsticks. Bali, Thailand, all these places. Thailand में भी वही वापस आते हुए layover था. They have folks options, but Vietnam doesn't give you that option.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Perfect. Perfect. I think that's pretty much all the questions for now. If you guys have more questions, just ping it to me or Srishti and we'll check in with Kajal. But Kajal,
yes,
so very much appreciate all of your time.
thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I hope to see you all on one of the Mamos trips someday.
Absolutely. So we'll share the details of Kajal's and Vamos Instagram page. Give it a follow. You'll keep on getting more tips and tricks like that.
You'll get
And
all the
hopefully,
updates.
Kajal, we plan something together very, very soon.
Yes,
right?
yes, please, let's do that.
Bring that
Definitely.
experience to you. And Kajal, on a lighter note, I'm just feeling thirsty listening to you. You have been speaking for a while. So do catch some water, do get some water. And
No problem.
really appreciate you putting
Thank
all
you.
of this
Thank
time
you
for
so
us.
much.
Right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a
All
lot, Kajal.
right. Bye.
For all the amazing
Bye.
tips, Kajal.
Thank you. You too. Oh no, not you are sitting at home. I'm only traveling. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But yeah, you have a good weekend.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Kajal.
Thank you, Kajal. Bye bye.
Thank you, Kajal.
Thank you,
And
sir.
Sumant. Yeah. And Sumant, very good to see you joining us from Baku. I took the liberty of taking one of your quotes from your Instagram story towards the beginning of the session, but I gave you the full credit for it.
Yeah. So it's nice. I know that I'm going to miss this, and good that it's actually 12:30, and which is why it's 1.5 hour time difference. It's at 11 o'clock here in the morning, so I was able to wake up and join.
Lovely, lovely. The only time I hear of Baku is always the Grand Prix that happened for Formula One there, but I hope it's a lovely place. Do
It's
enjoy
nice.
your
It's
time
nice.
there.
The weather is amazing. It's like Bangalore today morning, so it's very good. Landed yesterday midnight. This is very good. I just as an add-on to everything that lovely. I think she's given a lot of other trips. I've been doing that for the last decade, over a decade almost, and most of these are going to obviously help you. If any of you guys still wanted to know anything, feel free to either ping me. Benazir, especially on Vietnam, let me know. I have a ton of friends who have either gone there. I myself have gone there. Let me know whatever it is. My trips will be slightly different than what you probably might expect, but I'll be able to connect with you with other people as well.
100%, 100%, Sumant. And I think, guys, everything that Kajal shared, I'll share the deck recording and maybe we'll compile few of those clips and share it with you guys so that you have it handy. But I hope, guys, you enjoyed. I hope it was worth it. And I think just to leave you, I would just say, in case you haven't traveled solo yet, cannot recommend it enough. I did it for the first time out of compulsion, but when I did it once, I could just not hold it back from doing it again. So just take that leap of faith, book the tickets whenever you have time, and do travel wherever you want, wherever you are comfortable with it. It's really an amazing experience, right? Perfect, guys. Thank you so much. And then I think we are meeting a lot of you today in the evening in Hyderabad and Bangalore. So I'll see you guys there. And I think for the rest of us, we'll again connect back on Tuesday and we'll take it from there. So have your lunches. Have a great Sunday. Watch some travel movie. Read some travel book. Watch some amazing YouTube travel videos. And just go ahead and plan your trip. There's just nothing better than traveling, right? So I hope we can all do it more often. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining in.
Bye-bye, guys. Have a great weekend ahead. See you on Tuesday.
Can you stay back just for a minute?
Yeah, sure, I'm here.